So yesterday we have discussed about how the things differentiate in terms of data center, in terms of cloud. Okay, how the training will be like for the next 30 days. It will what we are going to cover. So we have discussed about the syllabus. We have discussed about the cloud. We have discussed why OCI is important and it differentiate from the other cloud vendors, right? So let's go further on that. So this will be the agenda for today. We will be going to see the cloud computing and cloud computing characteristics. Okay. And why cloud is important. What are the different cloud service model that is again categorized into three things. Infrastructure as a service, software as a service, and platform as a service, right? So in infrastructure as a service, we will build the virtual machines, build the networks and all, right? So it is related to your infrastructure components here. In platform as a service, we will deploy the things like we will deploy the applications on server, we will deploy the databases, we will deploy the data, application data and all, right? So that's called a deploy. And if we are talking about software as a service, that is completely buy, right? So what exactly the meaning of buy is, we don't care about like what operating system, what application, what database is running on the backend side, right? We just wanted account to maintain the business, to run the jobs, right? So just for an example, if you are talking about we are having a gmail.com, right? We don't know what kind of web server it is, what kind of database it is that running on top of like load balancers. So we don't care about it, right? We just created an email account. Okay, and we are just using the features like Google Drive and all, right? If we want extra storage, we need to pay it, right? So we are buying from Google. So that's called as software as a service. So everything is managed by Google, right? So we will be going to see the difference between OCI Classic versus OCI Gen 2, right? What exactly the difference brings here in OCI Gen 2 if we compare earlier days in OCI, right? What are the OCI services and global footprint? Okay, what's the architecture? Like architecture here means like we will be going to see the concept of regions, availability domains, and fault domains. Okay, how we can choose a best OCA region, and we if time permits, we will going to see the creation of Oracle free tier account. Okay, but we will cover this on our next session. All right, so as you guys already know about cloud computing, it's just like taking house on rent or taking car on rent, like many of the cities, like having a Zoom car concept, like we are taking car on rent, right? So same like we are purchasing computers, we are purchasing infrastructure services, which includes your servers, which includes your databases, which includes your networks. So everything like which wants our business to run 24/7, we are taking that on rent, right? So similar in the IT world, like we are purchasing the hardware, computer, storage, and everything like which we are using in our earlier traditional days in our on-premises data centers, like which we are setting up all the things to run our applications and databases. So same thing we are running here as well, but we are taking everything on rent. We are not purchasing any kind of hardware or any kind of databases or servers like that, right? So this is like which brings the difference in terms of data centers and in terms of cloud computing. So we just only need to pay like whatever resources we are using it for the amount of time we are using, right? So suppose like we have created a virtual machine, we have created a storage, okay, and we have created a database to run our business. Okay, so suppose like we have stopped our business in 7 months, 8 months, right? So we can release the servers, we can release the all the configurations, storages, and all the databases again to the cloud vendor, right? So we just need to pay it about 7 months, right? We are not going to purchase any kind of things, right? So that's the advantage we are having here. So there are various cloud vendors exist in the world, okay, who can provide all these resources on rent. So OCI is one of them from Oracle. So there are various other vendors like Amazon, Microsoft, that is for Azure, then Google Cloud, then Salesforce Cloud, then Alibaba Cloud, and there are many more as well. So the cloud provider, so what exactly the meaning of cloud provider? So as you know, like internet provider is just responsible to provide the internet connection to our offices, to our home, right? And they are maintaining everything by themselves, right? So similar kind of like concept in cloud provider as well. It's responsible to maintain everything on your behalf. Okay, we don't need to much worry about hardware. We don't need to worry about the servers, right? So if you guys are having any kind of experience into working into data centers, like how data center maintains, right? So there are a couple of racks which are put in the data centers. Okay, we purchase the hardware servers. Okay, we will place the servers into the rack, then doing all the network stuff, firings and all. Or like then we will install the operating system. So that everything is completely managed by cloud providers, right? Because we need to maintain the temperatures, right? So many things, right? So this is completely maintained by your cloud providers. All right. So if we are talking about the characteristics like the cloud computings, okay. So if you can see on the screen, there are a couple of characteristics which are mentioned here. Okay. So self-service, like we can say instead of self-service, I will say it's on-demand self-service. All right. So what exactly it means? The cloud computing services does not require any kind of human administrators or any kind of manual administrators, we can say. So user themselves are able to provision, able to monitor, or we can say it's able to manage the computing resources as needed, right? So we can spin up, we can provision as many as virtual machine, as many as databases instances. Okay, we want as per our requirement, right? So that is we can manage ourselves. We don't need to worry about we need to go to the uh, cloud vendors and all. We can do it from our side, right? We don't need to worry about it, right? And we can scale up and scale down as well. Like if you're talking about elasticity, so why scale up and scale down here? Okay, so the meaning of elasticity is that computing services should have IT resources, right, that are able to quickly scale out or quickly scaling whenever the business requirement needed, right? So when the user requires services, it is provided to him. Okay, it is scale out as soon as its requirement gets over. Suppose like we know, right, in the banking environments, like we are having a couple of transactions at the month end, quarter end, half year end, and year end activities, right? So at that time, we need resources. So what we can do it, we can do it as scaling at the horizontal side also, as well as we can do the scaling at the vertical side as well, right? Then broader network access is also one of the key characteristics of cloud computing. That includes like cloud computing services are generally provided over standard networks and heterogeneous devices. So the network speed is completely very good as we compare, right? So these all things will be taken care by the cloud providers, right? In the multi-tenant, if we are talking about it, is completely shared infrastructure. We can share the infrastructure with a multiple tenant. Okay, but keeping in mind about the security, it is very much secure as well, right? So cloud computing providers can support multiple tenants to the multiple users or multiple organizations on a single set of shared devices, right? Okay, so the cost management, if we are talking about like how we can manage the cost on the cloud. Okay, so there is a couple of cost management services in OCI, which we can use as analyzing the cost based on the services which we provision. And we can set up the budgets on the automatic emails, like based on the threshold or based on the compartments like which we wanted. And we can track the consumption of the resources in each compartment. Basically, I'm talking about cost management. It's like a flexible pricing models. So cloud providers offer a variety of pricing models right here. So which includes like we can use it as a subscription base. Maybe we can use as a pay per use. So there are a couple of service models, right? Which users as a users or as a organization, we can choose the option that best suits our sick needs, right? So that's what like we can say pay per use is, right? And in terms of characteristics, I will also include some of the characteristics which is not mentioned here. That is called your automations. Like We can also do it complete set of infrastructure automations. Like we are allowing users to deploy and manage the resources with minimum manual intervention, right? So we can use a Terraform tool to completely automate the infrastructure. So some requirement is like we need 50 virtual machines, 50 databases, like come with a set of network configurations and all. So we can always go with a kind of automation where we can write a Terraform code and we can spin up all these things with a minimum manual intervention and with a minimum amount of time as well. All right, so talking about the security in clouds also, like cloud providers invest heavily in the security, like those who are saying like cloud is not secure, but cloud is more secure, I can say, because they have invested heavily in the security, okay, to protect their users or organizations' data and applications and ensure the privacy of all the sensitive information which we kept in the database. Right. So these are a few characteristics, and that's why like many of the organizations, many of the clients who are especially moving into the cloud side. So these are some of the reasons why cloud is important, right? So if we are talking about like why cloud is important, okay, so one of the important is scalability, highly scalable, right? So one of the primary benefits of the cloud computing is scalability, right? For example, like if we are talking like being able to easily, we can scale any kind of IT solutions, okay, that can have an immediate impact on business, right? So scaling an environment on demand simply wasn't possible in the past organizations, right? Because it was restricted to the size. It was restricted as we are talking about processing power of the hardware setup. So in our earlier on-premises days, so I have worked in the data center. I can relate myself like why cloud is important here. So if we need like scaling in terms of like whether you are increasing the configuration of the server, whether you are increasing the server, right? Like I'm talking about horizontal and vertical scaling. So this is not possible in terms of organizations in earlier days because like it requires downtime, it requires approvals, it requires purchase of hardware, so many things. But with the cloud, these limitations has ceased to exist, right? So it means that the cloud has truly revolutionized the way business can manage the technical resources, right? So that is the important about highly scalable. We can do the scaling anytime, right? And we can scale out again, right? So we can always go with a kind of flexibility, like whenever we want, we can terminate the services. Whenever we want, we can spin up the services, right? It is secure, like which we have already discussed about the security, like because they have certain compliances based on the Oracle standards. Okay, so many of the cloud providers are we can say enterprise level organizations. Okay, talking about Oracle, Amazon, Microsoft, that employ about like the security compliances and especially about the data protection standards as well. Okay. So one of the main concerns the organizations, the management, the business leaders have about the cloud computing is safe, or whatever transfer like data transfer is going on is safe, like it is not being hacked by someone, right? So it is important to realize that major cloud service providers dedicate vast amount of resources to develop advanced security protocols. Or like so there are so many things which help us to follow the strict regulatory and compliances requirements, right? So uh, all right. So organizations that are tightly regulated industries, like if we are talking about the sensitive data, which is again banking, financial, healthcare, government, pharma. All right. So these kind of data we are already having in cloud. Okay, keeping in mind about the compliances requirements to ensure the applications and the data integrity as well, right? Talking about the cost, so that is very, very important after security. So cost effectiveness is one of the primary reason why cloud computing is important for the business and the organizations, right? So while cloud computing or cloud migration can be expensive, the right way to approach the issue of cost isn't by looking at how much money you have saved from migration, but how much money we are saving from CapEx and OpEx models, right? So these are the things. Consider how much your organization is currently spending on each on IT services as opposed to how much you will be spending on cloud. So if we are calculating the actual cost, it will be very, very less, right? So that is the one of the important key feature of the cloud. So this is one of the important to understand why cloud service models are differentiate here. What is the difference, right, in terms of infrastructure as a service, in terms of platform as a service, or in terms of software as a service, right? So in left side, if you will see here, there is a building which is showing a traditional IT, right? So there are chunks of uh, services mentioned here, which includes your networking, which includes your storage, servers, virtualization, operating system, middleware, runtime, database, and applications, right? So as a customer, we need to manage in our old traditional days, right? We need to maintain the networks, we need to maintain the data centers, racks, network configurations, operating system, everything is our responsibility. All right, so many teams we need to engage here, right? So what brings here is a cloud service model is cloud computing comes with three kind of models here based on the requirements, based on the customer needs, right? So if we are talking about infrastructure as a service, which includes or which provides the basic building blocks for your cloud computing, right? So it is like if we are talking about four important infrastructure pillars, like that is your compute, storage, networking, and databases, right? So if you can see here the red mark, like which, let me just take it pen. So the red mark, which we are talking about the networking, storage, virtual servers, and virtualizations, right? So this will be the responsibility of the cloud provider. So here, if we are talking in terms of cloud provider, here is a Oracle will be responsible to maintain all this virtualizations and all. Okay, so it's a responsibility of Oracle to purchase hardware to keep in this rack, doing the networking stuff. Okay, purchase the storage. Okay, attach the storage to the server. Yes, okay, we just need to worry about like what kind of operating system we want that run our application. We need to worry about like middleware components, the runtime environments, like Java based applications. It requires JVM, .NET based application requires other softwares to run the uh, application, and we worry about our like what kind of database will be going to support to our application. Okay, and then what kind of application we need to deploy on top of your web servers, right? So these all are our requirement. Okay, this will be taken care by customer itself, and we need to maintain it. Like talking about the maintenance part, we are responsible to maintain, we are responsible to upgrade, we are responsible to apply the patches, the security bugs and all, right? So in infrastructure as a service, I can say we have more control, okay, in terms of like what kind of operating system we want to our virtual machine, okay, what kind of uh, image, what kind of server configurations, right? We have more control, right? As a OCI admin, we can do everything in infrastructure as a service, right? So that brings short descriptions about infrastructure as a service here. Okay. Now, if we are talking about a platform as a service, it provides a platform for developing, for deploying, or for managing your applications and databases, right? So if we are talking about platform as a service in OCI, we are having couple of platforms, platform as a services. Just an example, like we are having autonomous databases or any kind of other OIC services and all. So we don't worry about networking stuff, servers. We don't worry like what kind of operating system it is, right? We don't worry what kind of runtime environment they are giving, right? What customer want, they can just focus on your application. They can just focus on the database, data integrity, and the business requirements, right? So they don't carry about like whether my operating system is up to date or not, because it's a whose Oracle responsibility to maintain, to patch the operating system, to provide the runtime environments, right? Let me just mute it. So that provides a fair enough idea like what exactly PaaS brings to you. And in software as a service, like it's a completely cloud provider responsibility to maintain, to upgrade, all right. So it provides fully managed applications that are hosted on the cloud. So just like we are talking about ERP cloud, if we are talking about Sales Cloud, if we are talking about Oracle Fusion Cloud, right? All right. So same kind of applications like your Gmail, your Yahoo Mail, maybe other applications like which we are using in your day-to-day life. Okay, you don't know what kind of activities like these companies are or these organizations are performing to maintain these things, right? So it's a completely Oracle or like a service provider's responsibility to maintain all everything. So software as a service where customers want to mainly focus on the business requirements. They don't want it to go with like, I will apply the patches to the database. I will apply the patches to the operating system. So that's what we are having as a software as a service. And we can choose based on our requirement, like whether we wanted to go with IaaS as infrastructure as a service, we wanted to go with platform as a service, or else we wanted to go with a platform software as a service. So this is a what this is about cloud service model where we are responsible. If we are seeing on the screen, like we are having IT professional, developers, or business end users. Like we have differentiate these all three. Okay, the meaning here is in an infrastructure as a service in IT professional, we are maintaining the platforms, applications, customizations, and everything. But like if we are talking as a consumer, and service provider will be responsible, okay, to maintain the infrastructure as a service like servers, networks, and all, right? Here, if we are talking about platform as a service here in terms of developer, okay, what developers is mainly focus into the applications and customizations. We don't worry about it, mainly focus into the application development, right? And if you are talking about software as a service where the customer is responsible to maintain their business and users. Okay, so new capability, and there will be focused more mainly on the business things, right? So this is just an image to show you the difference between how IT is really working into cloud service providing industries. About OCI, like if we are talking about OCI, like it's a second generation cloud. All right. So what exactly it brings to you? It provides a physical hardware. It provides a high computing environment for your applications and databases. It provides a high availability and disaster recovery features as well. Right. So if you can see in the image, we are having an options to go to use with on-premises to cloud, or we can use with on-premises with cloud, or we can use as a hybrid deployment, right? So we are having an options here. So this is just a slide which will differentiate you. What exactly brings OCI Classic versus OCI Gen 2, right? So in our earlier traditional days, in talking about 2016-17, when we are into OCI Classic, that is called again a generation 1. All right, so there are no concept of your availability domain. There are no security list or security rule which we control the incoming and outgoing network connections. Okay, there are no NMBs like non-volatile disk, SSS and all, SSD and all. Okay, there are no virtual machines and dedicated virtual machines, right? So these all are introduced in generation 2, which were introduced in Oracle. Okay, so OCI generation 2, like when we are talking about OCI, right? So many of the customers who recently decided to go to Oracle Cloud, they always go into generation 2. So existing customers, maybe some customer, very less, very few, are into generation 1, and Oracle is requesting them to go and upgrade into generation 2, where they will be having more control, more features like we are having. So it's based on the KVM based hypervisors and all. They are having a region and availability domain concept, which is not present into the OCA Classic first generation. Okay, the subnet concept, the route table concept, internet gateways. Okay, we are having a bare metal instances, which is very high computing powerful machines, which we can use to deploy our application or run our business. And SSDs and all are introduced in the OCA generation. All right. So if you can see, we are having a complete set of OCI services, which we already discussed in our demos on what kind of services we are having. We are having a compute, which is again divided into bare metal, virtual machines and all, which we'll be going to see here. Okay, so about the images, about the operating system it supports. Okay, what kind of storage we are having, we need to spin up as per the requirement. What kind of networkings we can do it. Okay, so many things in the networkings we need to understand, like about the creation of VCNs, subnets, load balancers, security list, network security groups. What is the difference between your security list and network security groups? How we can open particular port from any IP address. Okay, how we can mention the incoming connections that are coming from outside internet to Oracle Cloud, or the connections going from, let me just note it, or the connections going from uh, your Oracle Cloud to outside world, right? So this egress and ingress route, how we can write it, how we can open particular ports, we will be going to see here. In databases, like if we are talking about, there are Oracle databases, it again categorized into user managed and autonomous, that we will be going to discuss the open source DB as well. These are the applications related. Okay, if we are saying like what exactly the SaaS environment we are having, so we can say Oracle Fusion ERP, Oracle HCM, that is called as human capital management, SCM is supply chain management. So these all are software as a service. Sorry, someone is. All right, so these are all software as a service which are provided by Oracle here. In terms of development environment, we can use some of the DevOps tools as a Terraform, Ansible, and all. We can use OCI CLI commands, all right, and we can use as a Apex code to develop the applications in Oracle as well. In governments and administrations, we are having a couple of services which we have control, as in authentication and authorization services. We are having a web application firewall, cloud guard tool, data safe tool to find out if anything which we configure like which is not appropriate as per the Oracle. We can save our passwords in a vault. Okay, so these all things we will be going to see into the security section. All right, and observability, one of the important thing where we will enable the logging for all of the services. We will be going to see how logging services work, how we will be going to see how to monitor Oracle Cloud, how to set up some of the automatic notification that if anything goes wrong. If some just for an example, like if someone came, like someone is fresher and they just bring down the autonomous database, right? So what exactly it brings it, like we want an automatic notification, like if someone is restarting again, so we will be getting this kind of notification on our email, on our cell phones, or on our Slack or something like that. Like we have these options in OCI. So this is just OCI Global Data Centers presence here. So they are having couple of I think total 38 plus. Let me just check it. 41 plus regions. Sorry, as of March 2023. Okay, including your commercial plan and government, right? So commercial plan is Oracle is already planned to open their data centers, but still these all are in progress. Okay, so why I am showing this slide as a we need to create an Oracle Trail account. Okay, so based on that, how we can choose a region. So these all are the regions where we can choose the services to spin up the services here, right? All right, so talking about Oracle Cloud Infrastructure Architecture. Okay, so if we are talking about what exactly in as architecture in OCI, so this comes with your region, availability domain, and fault domains here, right? So there are few things which we need to keep in mind while choosing a region. So let's discuss later on that. All right, so what region exactly is? I would request to keep on mute, please. Someone. So region is nothing, okay, but a localized geographic area where our OCI servers or data is hosted. All right. So there are total 41 regions as of March 2023. Okay. And region is composed of one or more availability domains. All right. So how we can categorize as a region? Let's understand in a diagrammatic way. So this is my Oracle client account I will be going to create in as a region. Okay. So I am taking a region just as a country. Okay, I'm choosing as a India, right? So this will be my region. Okay, I will be creating my Oracle Tire account, okay, in India region. All right. So let's discuss here again. Availability domains are isolated from each other, fault domain, and very likely to fall simultaneously, right? So the availability domains within the same region are connected to each other by a low latency and high network bandwidth, right? Now talking about availability regions, okay, regions we have already selected India region, right? Talking about availability domains, right? So what exactly the availability domains means? Okay, just a bit. So availability domains are nothing, but it is, we can say in a country, in India, we are having few cities where we are having Oracle data centers, right? So just let me draw a three minimum one data center, maximum of three right now. So many of the countries are having two as well. Many of them are one as well, but mostly they are having three, right? So they are interconnected with each other. Right? They are interconnected with each other. Okay, so India as a region, now we are having one data center in Mumbai. Okay, one data center is in Hyderabad and one data center maybe in Bangalore. Okay, right now we don't have any kind of data center in Bangalore, but we have a data center in Mumbai. We are having data center in Hyderabad, right? But I just show you because of to understand the concepts, right? So region we are okay, like we have selected India. Okay, we need cities where we can open our data centers, right? So we Oracle is already open data centers in Mumbai and Hyderabad. So we can choose as in these all are availability domains, right? I will explain you what exactly it means for, right? Just be with me. All right. Then fault domain. So fault domain is grouping of hardware and infrastructure within an availability domain, right? So that line itself showing within an availability domain, we are having a domain which will group hardware and infrastructure, right? Which provides a high degree of protection from unexpected failures, right? So each availability domain contains three fault domains. Okay, it will distribute instances so that the instances are not on the same physical hardware within a single availability domain. Any failure at a hardware level or maintenance at a compute level doesn't affect the instances in other fault domain, right? It protects the unexpected hardware failure. Okay, so let me show you now how exactly it means. We already having region, we are already having availability domains, right? Now Oracle comes with a concept here with called as a fault domain. Let me just mod it. Okay, so this is nothing but a fault domain which is created here. Okay, let me just mention. We are having a fault domain. Okay, so Oracle is having three fault domain. Okay, in each availability domain. So I am just marking as a three. Okay, now
You know he's taking over and over again. Then why don't you put it somewhere where he doesn't get it?
all right. So we are having three fault domains here. Now, how exactly it will be useful? Let's understand the concept here. Okay, so let me just increase the fonts picture again. Okay, suppose like you need to create a application server, okay, keeping in mind about the high availability, right? So we are having, so customer requirement is we need a high availability in single AD, okay? In single AD means customer is talking about Mumbai region, right? They don't want it to go their application in other cities. They wanted to have everything in Mumbai region. So how we can achieve, so we need a two application server. So how we can achieve high availability? Suppose if you created two server in a single FD1 fault domain 1, right? If anything goes wrong, okay, so your application will be gone. You are not able to select the and run your application. So what Oracle brings here, you can create one server here and you can create another server here. If any chance like application server is still not available in the fault domain 1 by any unexpected failure, maybe some failure in power like related to power or failure related to server, still your application will be going to run from your fault domain 2, right? So that is the advantage we are getting into the fault concept, right? So again, if we are talking about availability domain, high availability in terms of availability domains, then we are having a concept, okay, where we can do it. One server we are going to create in Mumbai region, Mumbai availability domain, and one we are going to create into Hyderabad. Suppose earthquake come or any natural disaster came, right, and the Mumbai building collapse, right? Still our applications will be going to run from the Hyderabad city, right? So that is the example we will be getting into the availability domain. Now talking about high availability domains in terms of region, some customers prefer like we will be going with the region, right? Suppose India region is not available, maybe some issues, right, with the India region. How my business will be going to continue 24/7, right? So what we can do it, we can subscribe to any other region. Suppose like I subscribe to US region, I subscribe to Australia region. Okay, I will create one server in India, I will create one server in US. I will interconnect all this through peering between the networks and all. All right, and then our application servers or our databases are connected through data guards and all. Okay, so suppose like India data guard, I am doing some kind of maintenance, right? I am applying some patches and all. Still my applications will be going to run from any other region like US and Australia. So that is benefit which we are getting into high availability in terms of OCI architecture, right? So we need to design our architecture. We need to design our business in that way. We can provide a high availability to the customers, right? So how we can choose a region here, right? So the location, like choose a region closest to the users for lowest latency and highest performance. Suppose a customer is based out of US, right? So we can choose US based or nearby location where they will be getting a lowest latency and highest performance here. Okay. Now talking about service availability and service requirement. So new service cloud providers are made available based on the regional demand. All right, so any kind of requirement from the customer, we can choose based on the service or resource availability. And talking about data residency and compliance, like many countries, like talking about especially European countries, they are having some kind of strict data residency requirements, like where they don't want like their data go outside the Europe country, right? So in that case also we need to keep in mind like while selecting the region or while creating a Oracle tier account. Why availability or fault domain is necessary? So that is very, very important. Okay. So why it is important? Because to avoid single point of failure, and it will be useful for high availability design. So as we have already discussed here, how we can achieve a high availability in terms of regions, in terms of high availability, in terms sorry availability domains, and in terms of fault domains, right? See, we have already learned about availability domains and fault domain concept, like how we can achieve that and how we can secure. Yes. So how we can achieve this kind of high availability features in our business, in our application. So basically we need to avoid single points of call here, right? So we need to go inside a region. Okay, we need to create resources at most one fault domains and are actively changed at any point of time, right? So this means the availability problems caused by the change procedures are isolated at the fault domain level only. So we need to design our applications. We need to design our architecture to deploy our application instances that perform the task. Okay, the same task which we are performing into the fault domain 1, same can be done from the fault domain 2 as well. So we need to create multiple application server, multiple databases, right? So there will be like if you're working with an organizations, okay, there will be different SLAs, okay, so which will tell you about the availability of your application, about the management, about the performance and all, right? So they are already aware of like what SLA is, right? All right, so we will be going to create an Oracle free tier account. Basically on the next session, okay, how we can create Oracle free tier account. This is very much important, okay, because the reason is we will be going to practice everything and hands-on on the free tier account only, right? So I request everyone, maybe from the next session, they need a valid credit card, valid email ID, which they have never used with Oracle. We will be going to create, okay, and in the credit card also we need international transaction enabled, right? So any questions, guys, like any kind of discussions you are wanted to discuss with? We will be going to create a free tier account on most probably on Monday. Okay, so be ready with your credit cards, which is international transactions enabled. Okay, Oracle will not going to charge you any money, but it is just required to do the validations from the Oracle side. So any questions?
Yeah,
please.
one question regarding the Exadata, right? It is PaaS or PaaS or SaaS?
Exadata is SaaS service.
SaaS, right?
Right.
So in that case,
no, sorry, I'm sorry. It is a PaaS service.
PaaS service, yeah, that's what I was thinking. Yeah. So in that case, right, the patching the database is all responsibility of the customer, right? Not Oracle.
Yes, correct. Oracle will not going to apply any kind of patches and all. Okay, so as Exadata, as a PaaS service, you need to manage the patchings and everything, just like which you are doing in your own premises. Same you need to do in the cloud also.
Okay, so the database patch is same as what we apply for the regular standalone database.
Correct. So Oracle is releasing patching in every quarter, like just like we are getting in our own premises, and we need to apply the same kind of patches to the databases also. But only thing is like we are having autonomous databases also, so we don't need to worry about it. For autonomous databases, Oracle is maintaining everything by themselves.
Okay. And how about the server patching, the database server itself, like OS patching, if you say like?
So OS patching is all about Oracle. If you're talking about databases, like databases are the PaaS services, right? So all OS and all are Oracle responsibility, right? We don't need to worry about it. We just need to upgrade the cloud toolings, okay, and we just need to apply the patches to the grid and database.
That's it, right? So no need to worry about
No.
OS at all from.
No. We just need to update the cloud toolings. There are commands to update the cloud tools, okay, and from CLI commands are there. We will be going to discuss, and then we can apply the patches first to the DB system. So DB systems in OCI is called as a grid software, like we are doing in our grid and cluster environment, right? So we need to apply first to the grid, and then we can apply the patches to the database. So it's Oracle responsibility. From the console, if we are applying the patches, we can just go and sit and watch. It will automatically apply the patch. It will restart the database. Okay, we don't need to worry about it.
And do you have any notes or anything in the document that says like how to apply the database patch? Like you are saying something, we have to update some CLI, right? Using some CLI.
Correct. We'll share, Madhu. No problem.
Okay. Yeah. So we have something that is coming up for one of our customers where we have to patch the Exadata system, but the Oracle is saying that you have to take care of the database.
Correct. So database will be our responsibility, Madhu.
Right. Yeah. So if you could share the document, that will be helpful.
I will share it.
Thank you.
Yeah.
And Mohit, Monday at what time we have to join?
7:30 a.m. Same timing, 7:30 to 8:30.
Okay. Sure.
Hi Mohit, can you please do a quick review on the cloud service model again?
Can you please repeat what exactly you're saying?
Can you please do a quick review on the cloud service model?
All right, sure. Let me just
Thank you.
My slides. All right. So as you can see here, there are a couple of service models which are showing here. That is your infrastructure as a service, platform as a service, and software as a service, right? So these three are cloud service models. Okay, if we are talking about on-premises, like data center in our traditional IT old days, like where we are responsible, like I don't know, like you guys have worked on the data centers, but I have worked, so I can relate myself. Okay, so the traditional old days, like where or like like the service providers, or we can say the vendors need to choose land, and they will like have a building where they need to set up the securities and all. Okay, then they will set up the network, the wirings. Okay, the environment that the data center requires. Okay, so it's very much like -5, -10, something like that, which will cool the servers. Okay, these are the high power, high systems, high temperatures, power, right? So we need to manage the storage, servers, racks, everything from our side, right? So there will be so many things which we as a customers will responsible, apart from maintaining the IT as well, right? So many teams engaged and all, right? But in cloud, we will leverages all these things, right? Okay, so something it is related to capex and opex model, where we don't need to do the initial investment, huge investment, I can say, in setting up the net business, or we can say setting up the data centers. Okay, so in terms of infrastructure as a service, where we want like a control. Okay, so what kind of control? I have one application, right, where I need a Windows-based application, right? Where that application will be running on only Windows, because that application is created in a .NET framework, right? So I want a control where I can I want a more control where I can choose a virtual machine. I can create a virtual machine, which I am having an operating system for Windows Server 2016 Data Center Edition, right? So that's where you will go with infrastructure as a service, where you will be uh, creating a virtual machine, asking Oracle, give me that image. Okay, so image is nothing but an operating system in OCA. So give me 2016 Data Center Windows Server Edition, right? Because that is my primary requirement to run my business, to run my applications, right? And I will maintain everything. I will update the security patches which Microsoft releases every month, right? So I will apply the patches. I don't worry about it. Give me that kind of thing. So that is you are having a more control. Okay, so you can do whatever you want it, right? In platform as a service, we are not responsible. Like I don't carry about like what kind of operating system like my databases are running, right? Whether it is Windows based, whether it is Oracle Linux, whether it is Red Hat Linux, I don't worry about it, right? I will main focus on my applications. I will have a more focus on the database, which I will be going to migrate from on premises. Okay, I will be more focused towards my data about my customers, right? So which we will be focusing on platform as a service, where cloud service providers will give us a platform to run our applications and a database, right? Environment they will be given. Okay. And in software as a service, so many of the customers, like right now, they don't want it to maintain everything, right? So in old days, they are giving or offshore, giving the of this kind of maintenance to some other organizations, this kind of consulting work. Like many of the companies are doing the consulting work, they are maintaining their applications, databases, and this complete infrastructure. Now these cloud providers are itself giving these kind of services, where customer will be more focused towards their revenue management, their businesses, right? They don't worry about the maintaining part of infrastructure. Everything will be taken care by a cloud service provider. Okay, just for an example, in Oracle Fusions and Oracle HCM, if you're talking about, right? So many of the organizations, like if you're talking about any of the big organizations who are keep hiring people, right? So they are having on Oracle HCM, right? Which we are saying like it keeps all the employees' data about like the employment. Okay, so they are just getting all the required details from the employees and keeping into the HCM, right? So what exactly the HCM is doing, right? They are not maintaining any kind of operating system, any kind of databases, or any kind of application, right? So this is all taken care by Oracle. They are just feeding the data, just like we are doing into any kind of data entry, right? So they are just filling the data into the software, and then they are submitting, and they are just somewhere it is saving the data, right? So this is all we will be getting into the Oracle SaaS side.
Okay,
So,
thank you. So I got a question here. Let's say I open a business and I want to use Oracle Fusion, which is going to be used to manage my company's employees and all of that. And I subscribe with one of the cloud providers, say OCI, and I'm using software as a service. So once you sign up with them, you're basically doing pay as you go, and you don't know where they're keeping this data. So what if you choose that, okay, I don't want to continue using software as a service. I want to now, because maybe of cost or anything, I want to buy my own server and start to manage this data. How do you get your data back from them?
You need to ask Oracle. Like I wanted to go again from SaaS to PaaS, where I wanted to maintain my data, right? So they will help you to get your data from exactly the PaaS. So SaaS is nothing, right? In the backend, SaaS is also server, okay, server where you will be having as application where you will be having databases, right? So they will help you, okay, on getting the data exactly, and about solving the requirement to transform yourself from SaaS to PaaS.
So basically, if we have like a back-end database, say it's a SQL Server or it's an Oracle database, Oracle will be responsible to migrate this data and put it in your infrastructure as a service if you choose to not use it.
No, it's not an Oracle responsibility. Oracle will give you a data, maybe in Oracle storage or maybe in the data appliances devices, okay, and then it's your responsibility to migrate the data again back to the platform as a service databases.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
Mohit, the diagram of the availability domain and faulty domain. For example, if I have my application hosted on Mumbai as availability domain, and it was a faulty domain, I have to create for the HA to application platform. Is it gonna be HA if I lost Mumbai?
So just keep in mind, if we are talking about regions, availability domains, and fault domains, right? Okay, so whenever you are going to create virtual machine, whenever you are going to create a database, right? So here it will going to ask you where you are going to create it, right? So you have created your cloud account, suppose in India, Mumbai region, right? Now India, Mumbai region will be having couple of availability domain, couple of fault domains. So you need to decide where I need to create it, right? So it again depends on you. Okay, let me just show you so that it will clear your doubt. You are able to see it my screen, right?
Yes, exactly.
So this is what exactly it brings to me here. If you are seeing, this is again a VM created. Okay, so this is my VM created here. Okay, which will be showing you this created in availability domain 1 and fault domain 3, right? So if customer wants a high available environment, for suppose this VM contains an application, right? Amazon.com application, right? So customer wants like they again if this VM is not available, how their business will be going to run. So what I will do it, I will again create a VM. I will install and configure everything just as this VM consists. Okay, maybe in similar availability domain, maybe in others availability domain, maybe in same fault domain, or maybe in other fault domain, right? So there are a couple of probability. Like if we are having, suppose if you can see India, Mumbai, we are having this region, right? So right now they are having only one data center in Mumbai. Okay, that is the reason they are having only one option as a availability domain. But still customer want a high availability. How you can achieve it? So we can create both server in fault domain 1, but in different fault domain. If you can see here, we are having fault domain option here, right? So we can choose like one server created in fault domain 3, then we can create another server maybe in fault 1 or field fault 2. So if fault domain 3 server is not available by any chance, maybe some due to some fault, still we can able to run our business or run our application from this fault domain, where we have created another VM.
And still fault domain 1 and 2 and 3 will gonna be connected to the
So you know, right, how data works, right?
yes, exactly.
Right, exactly. So in two data centers, right? Maybe in one Mumbai and another one is Bangalore, right? So two data center. Is Mumbai data center is not available by any chance? Still your databases are keep running from your Bangalore data center, right?
Yeah, exactly.
So same like that as well. So treating availability domain as a data center. Okay, so just treat availability domain as a data center. Like we are having in Mumbai, we are having two data centers. One in maybe in Navi Mumbai and another one in maybe in Goregaon or Andheri East, right? So if Navi Mumbai is not available, still we can able to run our applications and databases from our Andheri data center. Did I answer your question, or still you are having doubt?
It's okay. Thank you.
I have a follow-up question just on that.
Please go ahead.
So say you have let's say you have two fault domains and you create your instance in those two fault domain, and in the event of domain, let's say unplanned downtime happen in the fault domain 1 and it has to switch to fault domain 2. During this time of switch, does it interrupt your business or the customer doesn't even notice it?
So you don't need to worry about switching and all. This will be taken care by Oracle only. Okay, because everything is connected. Okay, how it will be going to connect? We will be going to connect our application servers on top of your load balancer, right? So
okay.
What is the meaning of load balancer? It will distribute the traffic, right, between multiple servers, right? So we will be going to create servers in two availability domains or maybe in two different fault domains, and we will attach that servers into the load balancer. Okay, and then we will give the IPs to the customers of the load balancer IPs. Okay, so they will going to hit the load balancer IP. They don't worry about like the request is going to which server, right? So that's what we can achieve it.
Got it. Thank you.
No problem. Any questions, guys? So guys, like we will be continue from Monday. Okay, so we will be going to take only the paid people like who are already enrolled in the training. So if you are really interested to join, please take an admission. You can contact the team. Okay, and you can feel free to contact to the team about the admission process. And from Monday, we will be going to create an Oracle free tier account, and we will be going to do all the hands-on on the free tier account only. All right, so any questions, any doubts, any discussions, please reach out to team for the admission process, because from Monday we will be only allowing us like who are already part of the training, who has already paid admission. Okay, so thank you everyone.
So we make our own notes based on the lectures. There's no note, right?
Can you please repeat?
I was saying, so we have to make our own notes from the lectures. There's no note.
Absolutely, there is no notes required. We will be providing the links from where you will be going to see, going to learn, going to refer the links. Okay, we will be going to learn everything in our session only. Okay, but only theoretical part you need to read Oracle documentation. That is the best thing. Okay, you don't need to go to any kind of notes or any kind of other documentation. Oracle documentations are always best in best.
So you're going to be providing a link for all what you lectured today?
Yes, 100%. We will be going to deliver everything.
Okay, sure. Thank you.
Hello everyone. Myself Harish. I am from Learnomate team. So for paid people, I have shared one Learnomate app access. So you can install that app and send me request. I will accept the request.
So the paid people like who will be getting access to the application, they will be getting a link, okay, where we will be going to start the training, and you will be get the recordings and everything on your applications only. So you will be able to see all the recordings on a daily basis, the documentations that we can discuss everything on the application. So it's a very nice applications. So only the paid people will be getting access to that application. So please take an admission before Monday, and we'll be going to start with our cloud creation account, right? And those who have already registered, I will request to carry out the credit card for creating an Oracle ticket. All right. So thank you for joining, and have a nice day. We'll see you soon on Monday. Yeah.